In traditional marriage, Cis is always right because he's my husband. In a modern marriage, it's like, happy wife, happy life. So now you always wanted to say, okay, if my wife say yes, then it's a yes. So you can see the shift between the traditional marriage to the modern marriage. Hi, this is Cis and Phyllis Savanh.
Hey guys, and welcome to our Savanh family channel. And our big why is to inspire couples to save and strengthen their marriage so that together we can be alive in a marriage and live the life we deserve.
Please subscribe to our channel. We're committed to upload 3 to 5 videos every week and to add value to you where we can. So hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted every time we upload a new video.
And like our videos and comments, comment a specific takeaway or comment something that you would like for us to teach you, and we will.
And lastly, if you believe that our video will help one of your loved ones because it has impacted you so well, please share the video to them.
And we look forward to training you, so let's dive right into it. So let's discuss what traditional marriage is. And again, I just want to make sure you understand there's absolutely nothing wrong with traditional marriage or modern marriage. It's really when you view your marriage as a traditional marriage, but your behaviors don't match a traditional marriage, it matches more of a modern marriage. That's where the problems persist. And we'll walk through how that became our problem as well. And again, my parents, I'm going to use them as an example. They've been married for 41 years, and they're happy. They're going to be living with each other for the rest of their lives. But they view their marriage as a traditional marriage, and their behaviors match what their view or the expectation of their marriage is. And if you look at what a traditional marriage, what is it? If you look all the way back to prehistoric times, up to really about the late 80s, it really didn't change much. If you look at the caveman days, he had a role. He would go out and hunt and bring food back, and his wife would be in the cave, take care of the children, cook him a good meal, and when he got home, they'd be super happy, hug him, and give him high fives, especially on the days that he would be coming back with a kill, like a saber-toothed tiger, for example, on his shoulders. And I watched my dad do the same very thing. As I was growing up, he would go out and work a lot. He worked 2 full-time jobs on the weekdays and 1 on the weekends. And he would bring back, the paycheck, the bonuses, and he provided for the family. And my mom had her role, took care of the kids, took care of the house, cooked them a good meal when he got home. And that was their expectations. They were fine with that because they viewed their marriage as a traditional marriage. So their behaviors match what they were expecting their marriage to be. And really, in modern marriage is not. It's quite different. Why? Because if you look at the world has evolved. The standard of living has changed, has evolved as well. Technology is a good example of it. I mean, speed of technology, the advancement of technology has grown. Our house by itself, we have over 20 some devices in it. Today, and before it never used to be. A house used to be okay not to have internet, but nowadays it's a requirement. And so the standard of living has increased. Cars. I mean, we have not only a car, but we have like 5 cars. And there's like 3 people who drive. RVs, toys that we have in our house. So yes, life has changed. Life has evolved. So it kind of makes sense that relationship would evolve with it, and with the standard of living and standards of a relationship has changed as well. So, in terms of providing, like a traditional, as an example, my dad going out and providing, putting food and shelter. Well, if you treat your marriage, a modern marriage, as such where that's all that you're doing, and that's all that you think that the marriage needs, the relationship needs, well, that's a problem, because in a modern marriage, that's just one of the things that are important. It's not the main thing. There's so much more that a marriage needs. In a modern marriage, there's love, there's emotion, there's connection, there's fun, there's so much more. I mean, there's communication, especially nowadays when a woman can actually do pretty much what a man can do, even more. They can even have children without a man these days. And what ends up happening is if they're putting, just as much into the relationship, into the marriage, let's say it's, as a good example, 50%. If you go out and provide before 100%, well, now you're only providing 50% because she's providing the other 50. Well, the expectation from her is, well, if I'm providing just as much, then where'd the other 50% go? let's apply that remaining 50% to the marriage. Let's have that, more romance and more things that modern marriage needs. And, it's just my story. I mean, I grew up watching my dad in a traditional marriage, trained by him, saw examples, really how my mom and dad were. And again, I realized that, applying it to my modern marriages wasn't my fault. That's just how I was trained. That's the examples that I had. So, but when I applied it to my marriage, my wife is saying, well, I provide just as much. She's going to work. She's helping me grow the companies. Well, she just wants more of the other stuff that technically I didn't provide. So, which caused a lot of issues in our marriage, and rightfully so. I mean, it's not that she didn't just require that or need that. I needed that too, really, because I am in a modern marriage. I'm in today's modern world. So, a marriage nowadays just needs more. It's not just about providing. I do that very well, but there's connection, emotional, fun, all that stuff is also needed as well.
So yes, just like what C say, he is right. In traditional marriage, Cease is always right because he's my husband. In a modern marriage, is like, happy wife, happy life. So now you always wanted to say, okay, if my wife say yes, then it's a yes. So you can see the shift between the traditional marriage to the modern marriage. And nothing is wrong between the two, but there is a gap because of technology advancement, technology breakthrough. From, we used to have landlines till now we have cell phones and iPads, and the expectation is just very different. So in my world, in my traditional mind, see how my parents grew up. My mom always makes sure that the husband is taken care of, the kids are well fed, right? And then there's no individuality. It's just all about the husband and the kids, and that's end of the story. And so that's what I grew up with, and that's what I thought I'm supposed to do too. But then, ever since I'm growing up with all this technology and all these individuality and all these standard of living have improved and so on and so forth, there's this desire that I couldn't really tell what it is, but it's inside me, right? Because in my mom's world, a woman doesn't need to have education. As long as you find a right good husband, you're good, you're all set, because all you need to do is take care of the kids, take care of the husband, and you're all set. But now, if you look around, almost everyone, have a college degree, or is well educated, or have a business, or so on and so forth. So now, we have an identity. We are as strong as the man. We can do everything that, just like my husband said, we can do everything that the man could do. So, and thus, when we are in a relationship, we want more. We want more because we're more aware now. We know what we want. We come up to this stage where women's right, women's freedom, right, women's identity, and thus I'm now requiring more from my husband. Like, hey, we need to communicate. Hey, we need to have connection. Hey, we need to brainstorm with each other. Hey, we need to talk about each other different perspective and integrate them together. But those are foreign language to us to a certain extent, because I was like, there's something I need more of, but I don't know how to say. And then at that time, Steve was like, what do
As
you
if you're a
mean?
traditional man.
Yeah, what do you mean? I mean, I already tell you, how's your day? Good. How's your day? Great. I was like, what is that about? Like, I need more than that, right? Because during business you talk to me more, but during husband and wife time, you just are so short. Like, are you not love me? Do you not really understanding me? Like, do you not really want to connect with me? Because again, there's nothing wrong with him, but I just want more. As a modern woman, I just want more,
Yeah.
right? So because of that, our marriage run into a hurdle, because I decided that I want a divorce from him, because I'm no longer fulfilled, because the things that I want, at least mentally, spiritually, I'm not really getting it from him, even though he have fulfilled the fundamental basic stuff that I want. But again, you see, like what I said, it is basic for us in modern, but in traditional, that is all that you need to do.
And we're going to break this down even further using three examples of how these examples are treated in traditional versus modern marriages. And the first example we're going to talk about is responsibility versus relationship. So, for us, as an example, we grew up, and I watched my dad, again, go work a lot. My parents both worked a lot, and responsible was priority. They roof over our heads, food on our tables, making sure that we lived in a decent, nice neighborhood, we had clothes, We had a safe car to drive in. So that was number one. So in their marriage, in my what I saw, that was the number one. So the relationship part in their marriage, traditional marriage, was really kind of absent. I mean, not a lot of hugs. I can't, maybe a couple, two, three times I remember my mom giving me a hug, and my dad as well. But, wasn't a lot of emotion, wasn't a lot of, working on the relationship. Didn't really see flowers, didn't really see, communication, expressions of love and things like that, because how they viewed their marriage was traditional when it came to responsibility was greater than relationship. Well, in a modern marriage, it's totally flipped. Responsibility is not the main priority or the big part, vital part of it. It's just one of the parts of it. It's basically a standard, an expectation that it needs to be met already. The relationship also is not the main priority, but it is one of them as well. So, such as, more emotional connection, more love, more fun, more communication, and just pouring more into the relationship, and not just concentrating so much on the responsibility. So that's a difference between how a traditional marriage and a modern marriage treats responsibility versus relationship, as an example.
Yes, growing up, it's all about responsibility, right? Fellas, make sure that you finish your homework. Fellas, you make sure that you have good grades. Fellas, you make sure that you get this done. So when you become a woman, become a wife, it's all about responsibility. Hey, fellas, did you feed the kids? Hey, fellas, did you get this work done? Hey, fellas, as a wife, did you make sure that your husband's happy? Did you make sure that he's fed? Have you get his clothes laundry, right? And but again, that's the traditional marriage, because in the modern world, we started to work, we started to have our own identity, and we demand more. I want a relationship. I don't want to just talk to my husband all about what are the responsibility, I'm getting it done. I want the relationship, I want the sparks, I want that thing that is special between us and no one else have. And obviously that special connection between us is different than everybody else, because everybody has a different standard. And I think that is the piece that that is starting to evolve, and is starting to become more and more and more and more needed, by the woman too, because we want a relationship, we want a connection, we want to feel attracted to with my husband, not just that, oh hey Phyllis, you got your responsibility done, good job. It's more like, hey, what's going on today, how do you feel, what's going on, let's brainstorm, do you like this movie, what's going on. So it's the bonding, it's the relationship, it's the intellectual need that we need right now, the emotional need. And because we understood that now, of the standard and the expectation was different, so now we manage to work with each other more and make sure that we're more sensitive towards the relationship need more than the responsibility.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching the video, and you enjoyed it, right? We know that you got a lot out of it today.
Yes, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, like our videos, and tell us what you think, in the comment box. So also don't forget to share with a friend or a loved one so that they can benefit too.
Have a blessed day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.